Hello everyone! Come on in, it is final tribal council time. You're gonna hear a lot of chatter because we are in a new position right now. We've got a perfect angle of final tribal. We're so excited. Real quick, we're gonna swing around and show you guys the copy. This is the prized possession that everyone wants. That's what everyone needs. That is what we are playing for here at Survival Challenge 2024. So it is about time for our jury. They will come in, they will sit there with Bryce's. They will ask their questions. We're over here. Leah and KP will feed their cakes. Ooh, I'm excited. What do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah. There you are. You're right there.
Oh, there I am.
Yeah. You don't know?
Is that happening right now?
Yeah, we're live.
Oh, nice.
Surprise.
Yeah, I really don't know much. I just hope the jury is not mean and everyone has fun.
Yeah. Did you play a season of Survival Challenge?
Season 9.
How did you do?
I was last boot before the merge.
Okay.
So I don't have the jury experience.
You got, let's see, Gregory.
Oh, hey, Bree.
And Bree.
And Greg.
Yep.
Love you guys.
Yes, hi, Kevin Blue, the cobbler. They are so beautiful. So, okay. All right, so.
Never thought.
Miss America answer from Gavin.
Yeah. I deserve that. That's fair.
Yeah.
But if you had a front runner, who do you want to maybe pull out the win? Come on.
I think KP played a very exciting game.
Okay.
She wiggled out of a lot of situations where I thought it could be her. So I think she'd be a very deserving winner.
Okay.
I think Leah has played a great social game. She's made a lot of really great bonds.
Yeah.
And kind of like Declan pitched in the final 3, they made it a long way due to a lot of her decisions.
We're gonna find out. It's gonna be interesting. Let's go. Let's go.
Bring in the jury for the final time. So Leah, KP, congratulations. You've gone as far as you can. Now is the time for the jury to decide who they want to vote for winner of SC Season 11. Yes, the Cobster has made its appearance. The coveted Cobster that you're playing for. Yes. We'll give you each time for an opening statement. We'll turn it over to the jury. Each of them are going to be asked one at a time to ask questions. We ask everyone to keep them reasonably short and reasonably pointed in a direction that'll give you information you need to make a decision. Okay. Either of you care to go first?
Okay. Hi, jury. Nice to see some of you looking clean. I had such a whirlwind experience, as everyone did, but I think starting off on these, the lows of Coco, which were really highs emotionally, connectiveness-wise. I'm gonna start to get my words together. It's gonna happen. But a lot of losses there. And I think starting from the bottom there, the benefits are kick driving into the relationship that I did build with Declan and being able to like emotionally lock into the game. Those votes were legitimately very hard for us and the emotions were really strong, and being able to kick into that game like that and know that this is going to be hard was such a benefit. I was really happy we went to tribal to feel all that before we got to merge. I think come merge, I was fortunate to be able to align with numbers and with great people that I really, really enjoyed working with and felt good about. So the first votes were able to get in the way that I wanted them to for my game. People that I felt I could talk more strategy with, go further with. A lot of the front few people, we didn't talk a lot of meaningful strategy, whether that's because we were on different tribes or because we had different ways of thinking. And I think I was generally okay with that and hopefully tried to make sure that I didn't spread absolute falsities for nothing. That's something that I don't enjoy doing. Anytime I had a conversation, I really did pitch things that I could go for, but some were just always going to be better for my game than others. I took a huge shot at my number one mid-merge, and it's a decision that left me really scrambling for a lot of the rest of these votes. But it's a decision I don't regret. I wanted to make big moves, and I knew that coming from Coco, where we really had to get down to 2, we didn't have numbers to kind of align with our first tribes, so I wanted to make a big move. It didn't work, but I wouldn't change that, and I think the ability to bring people in and pitch and try and get people to trust that I have an open mind, I have a desire to do big things. And other than that, let's talk. I really did want to hear pitches for every person. I was willing to lose a ton of people. I made super loose final 2s that I think when I made them, we both knew they might not be the right final 2s. Because I really was keeping super open minds, knowing that there's a billion paths to success. And I found one of them, because here I am, which is really great. I never, ever since merge have guaranteed safety on my neck. Not a single vote was I guaranteed safety. So I had to create my own safety. And I did, through my connections and through pitching. I know that a lot of my pitches were always just gonna be better for your game anyway. So it's not like I'm saying that I changed the tides here. But I do think my pitches held water, clearly. I pitched a lot of you guys. I pitched almost all of you guys. So I think that my connections and my charisma and my open-mindedness and my ability to want to do big things, despite having very little challenge skills, was something that I knew was going to be my benefit. I'm a comedian in my real life. I tried to bring that lighthearted nature. I didn't think about where I would place in this game. I only thought about, let's go vote to vote. Let's meet people we really genuinely like. Let's vibe out. And let's try and see where I feel trust and where I don't. There was a lot of high emotions, and I think there were emotional people playing the game, all of us. But I tried to use my head as much as possible. I have a lot of emotions, and they got out sometimes, but I really do think most of my choices were based on logic or based on the pitch that I see. All of the games are different, but I tried to really weigh everything for every person that I was talking to make sure it was good for their game as well as mine. And notice the little details on who might be taking breaks with people that they said they don't work with, who might be looking at people that I don't know and maybe pull back on those. So I tried to take in a big, full, detailed picture, and I'm really happy that despite never having an immunity necklace, I got safe enough to get right here where I can talk about the things I did win. I won charisma. I won communication. I won friends. So I feel really, really good about the game I played. I feel good about the risks I took. I feel good about the votes that happened. And I feel really lucky to be with someone that also had an amazing game. I have nothing like negative to say about Leah's game. I thought it was incredible and different, and I know what I'm good at. I've played about like 7 of these types of games. And I always make merge, and it's always really fun to meet people. So I like playing, and I think I had just the most amazing time doing what I like to do.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like a lot of the perception of my game was that it was I wasn't doing anything, or I was playing under the radar, or was just kind of following along. But I do feel like I spearheaded a lot of things. Starting back on Lonon, that was a rough start for us. We had literally a tarp for the first night. That was it. We did not eat. We had no fire, no nothing. And I really tried to form bonds on that tribe to get me through that 5. So I was like, I think we're going to tribal council a lot, and we did. So I kind of found my person in Elisa and Dan and Nick. I was kind of close with everybody and Aaron, and it like, I just had to find a path to at least get to a swap or a merge. There, we were not good at challenges. It was very apparent. So I think I did a really good job, especially with my relationship with Elisa. That got me to the swap for sure. We were the deciding vote on every one of those votes, and I feel like that was just a call to my ability to make personal connections. Not necessarily strategic connections either. I tried to do more personal connections because I feel like what I'm better at. I kind of knew my strengths and weaknesses coming into this. I'm not a strong challenge person. I did win 2. I have been telling people the one that I won the first time was definitely a team effort. So I do count it, but yeah, I wasn't even expecting to win 1. I can't swim, I can't run, I can't do any of that. I am not athletic at all. I have no stamina, I have no strength. I quite literally cannot do any challenge that was put our way. So getting into the swap, I got a little nervous because I had nobody. All of Lonon was being picked off one by one, and I was like, what am I gonna do? Those were all of my people, and I was super, super nervous. So I kind of went back to the roots of day 1, where we had so there were 6 people that forgot to put their names on papers for the first challenge, and we all kind of met up, and we talked about it, and we were like, a no-name alliance, but like, did anyone take it seriously? No. When we got to the swap, I was the reason that alliance kind of came to fruition. I immediately approached Declan, and I was like, hey, no-name alliance? Like, hey? Because Luke, and I was like, guys, easy. We're in the majority. We got 3 with our no-name alliance. And that kind of propelled, we didn't have to go to tribal, but that kind of gave me a little bit more confidence knowing that all I was very, very nervous. So after that, I do feel like the No Name Alliance did help me, because going into the merge, I immediately wanted to have the numbers, and I feel like a lot of people didn't see what I was doing. I pulled together a team of 8 to have the majority numbers on the merge. That was the No Name Alliance and Dan from Lonon, who was the one final Lonon. Those numbers, obviously, it did not go well, but 6 of those 8 made it through, and those were the 6. And that was my doing. I got together all of those people, starting with their relationships they had made, my relationship that I had, and we were able to propel ourselves through, and I was really, really proud of that, and I just feel like no one saw that from me, because I didn't want to come off as I was doing anything, obviously. I got no votes. I just genuinely wasn't a threat, and I was doing my absolute best to not make myself a threat, because I was like, I'm not trying to get into endgame. I do want to talk about the No Name Alliance, because obviously they're over there. Those 2 are insanely strong, insanely articulate. I'm good at speaking, and I love you both. and I knew it was right for my game. It was very hard to vote both of you. I was very willing to go to the end with both of you, and all of the numbers and the jury, I genuinely felt that there was not a chance for me to go with one of you. I feel like you guys would have definitely, it would have been a 0 vote for me, and you guys would have had everything, and that is just, you guys played amazing games. But I want to thank you for helping me get to this point, because I would not have gotten here if it wasn't for those two. And I genuinely believe that. I feel like my relationships with them were super, super strong the whole time, and I appreciate them very much.
All right, move over to the jury. Begin the question. Let's start with Ali. Stand back by your seat. You guys are warriors. You really are. I want you to be confident in what you're going to say next. I don't want any questions from my fellow jurors to affect you negatively. You outwitted some of us, you outplayed some of us, but you outlasted all of us. So you need to be strong. You deserve to be here. This game is brutal, but you made it. The game doesn't lie. You're here. You are not. So be strong. I will award my vote to the person that I think deserves it most. The original context of Survivor. So again, be confident, be honest, and tell us the truth. I have a question for you. Hand. Tell me, what are you going to do to sacrifice the lamb?
Leah's game is different than mine. Are some of those differences worse? Maybe, yeah, I think so. I think that I was confident in every vote I did. I didn't want to do a lot of those votes, but I did them. And I told Declan name down. It's that sort of knowing what needs to be done that I did. And I think that was always my POV, is this game is hard. It's going to be something that I am grateful for every step of the way, because the second I lose confidence and start scrambling and maybe we should just, and maybe we should just, and maybe we should just, I didn't do a lot of maybe we should just. If somebody asked me what's the name, I said I'm hearing blank, I want blank. So it's that sort of knowing what path to choose, whether it be right, whether it be wrong, that I'm willing to always fall on the sword for that. I'm always willing to do the difficult and emotional votes. We had tons of them, but I never let it be the end of my journey or the end of where I could find alliances. There was a lot of times where I said, there's my number one gone, there's my number one gone again, there's my number one gone again. Time to find a new number one. Time to keep going. And I think that I wouldn't describe myself as wishy-washy at all. I don't think I was. And I think that certain other votes over here, I'm so sorry, may have been a little more instinct-driven or heart-driven, whereas mine was really trying to nail it in.
This game, actually, first, congratulations on being Final 2. Huge accomplishment, especially a crazy achievement to make it to this phase. This game at its core is about relationships, and making and breaking those things are two of the hardest things to do in this game. So what I need to hear from both of you is one of, if not both, of your biggest save or your biggest sacrifice of one of your allies or relationships in this game.
Yeah.
I feel like my biggest save in this game for relationships, probably a recent one, I did not want to write Declan's name down, and I was not willing to sway on that. And we went to Rocks without even having to revote. I was like, absolutely not, I'm going to Rocks for them, 100%. And I told them that going in, I'm going to Rocks, we're going to Rocks. And I did, and that was such a risky move because there was only 3 of us. We got lucky, and I feel like a lot of people wouldn't have made that. They would have played it safe because it's such a low there was only, I don't know the percentages, I'm bad at math, but only 2 out of the 3 of us were going to be safe, and I just feel like it was super risky, and I was super proud that I made that decision. And one of my biggest sacrifices probably would have been Kaylee. I do feel like that was the start of flipping things over. I was really confident in you coming to Final Tribal Council and sweeping everybody. You are the most articulate person. I would hear you talk at Tribal, I'd be like, good God, I cannot sit next to her. And I love you to death, and I'm so sorry that I lied to you, but I genuinely feel like I had to, because if I didn't, you were getting here. No matter what, you were gonna find your way. You had an idol nobody knew about. And that after I heard about that, I was like, that solidified my decision 100%. Like, I of course felt bad, but I was like, I definitely made the right move there.
My save is similar, but a different circumstance. I went hard and I showed all my hands when Declan was at risk. I was willing to talk to anyone and pull anything out of my ass to keep Declan around when Australian Luke went home. I immediately said, I'll go to Rocks, I'll go home, because my game doesn't exist without my number 1's game. So if Declan did go home, my timer was on. So I didn't want to enter that phase where I'm not ready. We're not even jury yet. I'm not ready to let my timer start ticking. So I said, absolutely, I'll go to Rocks, I'll do anything. I'll vote Australian Luke, I'll vote anyone in this cast, knowing that you can't put a price on that. So I was willing to send whatever needed to be sent, and I talked to everyone and I did work. I was sweating, and that was the save that I think set us on. There was just a lot of people that I hadn't strategized with that would have been okay with me going, and I knew Declan wasn't. My sacrifice. My sacrifice was Declan too. I know I'm talking about them so much. But the sacrifice was there. I took a huge swing. I tried to get them before they might get me. And I knew at that point that I had reached an impasse, because I was speaking with Declan and their plan was different than mine. And when you can't get someone's plan to be your plan, you're never going to be able to, the amount of talking, make it work. So they were so strong in Nicole and Kaylee, and they were like, I think we're definitely going. I said, that just isn't my plan. I love them so much, but I just had different thoughts in mind. So that was the sacrifice I was willing to make, because when your plans differ, you have to differ. So I took a shot.
Congrats to you both.
Thank you.
I'm interested to see the footage back, because I don't think we were on the same side of a single vote this entire game. Congrats especially to Leah. I want to give you props for being the only other woman to win the immunity necklace. Right now I'm sitting at 60-40, and I'm absolutely able to be swayed. So my question is, when I left this game, I said, do it for the plot and don't be boring. You two individually do to shake up the game.
Sure. I don't want to.
Okay. Sorry. Unfortunately, I'm going to bring it up again. I genuinely feel like my best vote was the Kaylee vote. I'm so sorry, girl. So 6 year, we got to do something, because all 6 of us aren't making it to the end. I wish we could, but we couldn't. And I feel like that if I didn't do that vote, I 1000% would have been, I would have been gone. They had super close alliances with Kaylee and Nicole. And then if KP and Declan did go with them, which I was nervous for, it was KP and Declan, because it was those two duos, and then me and Ned, which we had the No Name Alliance, but we were never genuinely like on a tribe together until the merge. So it was kind of, I didn't feel as close as a duo as those 4 probably did. So I definitely was not feeling confident. I felt like if I didn't get one of those out of the quadruple out, me and Ned would have been on the bottom. So I feel like in doing that, I also helped Ned's game, because I feel like that kind of propelled us into a power position there.
Well, two moments come to mind. I think, Ali, when you got voted out, I really was very, very okay with voting Kaylee out, and I spread that seed. I was the one that planted Kaylee's name. It was true. Your name was being planted. And as Ned said, I think my strength has been planting those seeds that start balls rolling. Kaylee wasn't really on a radar before the vote before looked wishy-washy. The things started popping out. The touchy subjects I felt was some odd answers. There was some interesting slices. Kaylee started to be a threat to me. So I was 100% in on Kaylee, to the point where you came up and talked, I think with Nicole and maybe Leah, and Ali was like, yeah, it's definitely Kaylee. And you left, and they were like, yeah, but what do you really want to do? And I was like, oh, I really want to do that. Oh, no, I'm in. And then those seeds got planted, things started trickling, balls started rolling. I noticed that Griffin was super aware of who threw extra votes somewhere, which makes me think Griffin threw extra votes somewhere. And I spread that note around, because I think if you ask 7 times, you got it on the brain. So I think I started a lot of balls rolling where it's like, this person is saying they're number one. Ned was saying he's number one and going to final 2 with multiple people. I was trying to push Ned's name, even though I loved working with Ned. So it's these things that started rolling that helped shake stuff up. I also found the crate key and held it from my team for 3 hours. And I'm sorry, but I always want to make sure I got a little something in my pocket. And even when it came down to 3 people, I didn't use it. And that's because I felt safe and I felt comfortable with the other things I've done.
Yeah, first, congratulations to both of you. Not getting a chance to work with either one of you like too deeply. I'd really love insight, like jury onwards in a concise manner. What votes did you drive individually? What were you the catalyst of?
I'm sure. I think Australian Luke comes to mind due to forcing. I think Ali was also a part of that. But I think me for sure being stubborn in the same way Ali is stubborn helped drive that vote, because I think some people would have swapped and taken the chance to keep Australian Luke for their game, and I didn't. So I think I was a driving factor there for sure. Val, I had thrown your name very many times. As you know, we were on different sides. So I feel a connection there. Ali, I'll say, I don't think I was yours. I think your name was, I was ready for Kaylee. Griffin, I think I was part of that. Definitely. Catalyst-wise, sorry, I'm getting stuck on did I do it. Catalyst-wise, I made really good pitches at the end here. I think that there's a world where I'm not sitting here because I have a lot of strengths too. I pitched Ned really hard, and I pitched Declan really hard from a long time before. And I think building those connections, I was the catalyst for The Rock because people weren't willing to write me down. So I helped that one too. So I think I'm involved in very many of these that are humongously monumental, ones that set courses and set numbers afoot.
Sorry. I feel like my biggest one was you, Griffin, unfortunately. I felt like we didn't get a lot of good conversations, which I do regret 100%. I feel like I could have done a lot better there. But at that time, I was having really good conversations with Paul. Really good conversations with him every single tribal. I wanted to try to loop him in to see if I could work with him, and I could. And keeping Paul was a big decision of mine because I was like, okay, we got to get rid of the other ones first. So I had to kind of try and sway people towards that, even if being that way. But I know the Griffin and Paul vote was definitely, it could have been up in the air, and I feel like I definitely spearheaded in trying to keep Paul, especially with my majority no-name people. I was like, I think we can loop Paul in a lot easier, and I genuinely feel like that was a really good one for me. Unfortunate to you, but okay.
Kaylee?
First of all, congratulations. I think you both played a phenomenal game, and it was really fun to play with both of you, and the last couple of days were phenomenal, no matter what happened. I'm actually changing my question based on an opening statement that I heard. Leah, you took credit for pulling together the 8 that came together.
Yes.
I need more information on that, because quite honestly, I think had a role in that. I think I had a role in that because we took that shower together at the auction.
Okay.
I think we talked a lot about it.
Yeah.
I think Nicole was pivotal in that. I'm really curious why you're taking credit for that information, because I don't know how either one of you could take full credit, but if you want.
I feel like taking full credit probably was like a bad wording of that. I feel like because of me spearheading, and I'll let you know what I spearheaded, that is the reason the 8 came together. We kind of got groups together. The 8 started with, I don't even remember who's in the 8 at this point. I'm so sorry, I'm so out of it. But the 8 definitely started with Australian Luke, me, and Declan on the new Pink tribe. Don't remember what it's called. If I did not go up to them at that time and be like, hey, no name alliance, even Declan kind of forgot about it. They were like, no name alliance, what? And I was like, remember day one, like, hello, we'll be in the majority. We got through that swap vote, and then I had 3, and I was like, if you guys have anybody from your tribes, pull them in. Luke pulled in Ned from Pink, and then Declan obviously had KP. So, and then I was trying to work with you guys because I think our common goal together was to get Tawa out. But I feel like if I did not approach Declan and Luke at that swap meet, it would have gone, I don't think it would have happened. In favor of me, at least.
I just want to say Leah is absolutely responsible for that part of the 8. I had completely forgotten about it. I was very afraid to talk to her or Australian Luke. I thought I was in a terrible spot, and a long conversation that Leah initiated and was really, really driving is the reason why a lot of future things happen.
See, I don't think I agree, because I think it's a mutual interest that happened to all be okay with it, to be honest. My journey ended up the same way, but I took those conversations as completely different. I loved Ned from that first walk in. Ned and I had from the absolute first walk in, Ned and I talked for that whole 20 something minutes. So for me, that was a Ned feeling good who brought in Luke, whereas hers was a Luke bringing in Ned. I felt incredible with Nicole. We had day 1, we slept in that camp, and the whole time we were just kind of like, I'm so glad I'm in this with you. I had great feelings from you. So I was Ned, Nicole, Declan, branched out. And I think that was equally the exact right answer. I think that we all have our own conversations that were pivotal. But I think, I don't take full credit, but I think it was mutually beneficial. I think we all found each other and all felt good with each other, and that's how that 8 happened.
Cool.
Congratulations, girls. I'm so proud of you. I had so much fun playing with you, and like, it just makes my heart so happy to see both of you here. You played incredible games. My question might be a tough. Why do you deserve to win over the person sitting next to you?
Okay. We definitely, before we came out here, we agreed that we were not gonna do this. So thank you, Nicole. We wanted it to be very just, I don't think the word is benign, but a good feeling. Anyway, sorry. Okay, I feel like I deserve to win over KP because I was on the right side of a lot of votes. I feel like almost all of them post, except for the couple scary ones in the beginning. I feel like the first 2. After that, I was on the right side of all of these votes, every single one of them. Whereas KP can't do the same, unfortunately. And if it wasn't for me at Final Tribal, it's possible. You could have won. But in that final 3 grouping with me winning immunity, it was all me that took her here. And but I do feel like after the 2 crazy nubby vote outs, I was on the right side of every single vote, and I am insanely proud of that. And I honestly didn't think about it until I'm looking at all of you, and I genuinely was on the right side of every vote, and I did what I needed to do to take my path to the end. And unfortunately, I had to vote people out that I loved dearly, but if I didn't, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I think I've hit on a lot of points that I feel are the real things, which is the lack of wish-washing, the lack of going with what feels right versus what is right. And I think that was a real strength of me. I think I've never said I'm about 60-40 on that. I'm about 80-20 on that. But and I think it's that that going with my logic center that helped me get here, and why I deserve to win is it's a little more calculated. It's a little more of the game to me. And it was still living vote to vote. It was never like I was like, just as I suspected, I was wrong. No, I was wrong. And I had to adapt in a way that felt comfortable yet again. So it was playing as myself. I'm not a Survivor super fan. I'm not copying anyone's game. I'm playing the way that is right for me, which is working with the people as long as I can keep them, and then working with new people as long as I can keep them, and then going like that. And that's the genuine self that I brought to this, and that's what I like to do.
Ned?
Paul, wasn't it?
Paul. Sorry, Paul.
First of all, congratulations. You both played incredible games, and I'm deeply proud of both of you as people. Been a lot of great gameplay questions, a lot of great information, but mine is not that. As we all know, this experience is brutal, but it's beautiful, it's challenging, it's difficult, but it can also be incredibly rewarding. So what I want to know is, what is the number one thing you're taking out of this game that you're going to apply to your personal life to make you a better person?
Coming out here, I have never played a game like this. I am a Survivor super fan. It has been my dream to. I just never have, because I am scared of the dark. I am scared of spiders. I'm scared of the outdoors. I don't like camping. I don't like being dirty, as we all know, because that shower thing, I was like, I'm going, guys. I don't like that stuff. And this was really, really different for me. And I have a tattoo on my shoulder that is these things I'm so afraid of, they don't mean anything. And I feel like that really came out here. I got that mainly for my anxiety, but when I came out here, I was so afraid of so many things, and in the end, they do not matter because I did it. I did it, and I feel a lot more confident in myself, and I feel like coming out of this game, I genuinely feel like I have become a completely different person in just the short 5 days. Astronomical that can happen, and I don't know, I'm just really, everyone should be proud of themselves that they did it. It was tough. It was tough, and yeah, I mean, I just with immunity. I talked about it, my iron deficiency. I was struggling out here. I can't run, so the fact that I won like fully by myself, so I don't know. I'm just really proud of. I'm not a confident person, and I feel like I gained so much confidence from this game, and I'm so happy with that.
And it really just kicked in today, I think, maybe last night. But I have this way of protecting myself by envisioning the most negative outcome. And that's worked for me for so long. And whenever I hit a challenge or whenever I hit anything, it is assume the worst and yippee if it's the best. And I felt today that was blocking me from getting a win. And that negative thinking, like today during the stacking, I was like, well, I'm probably not going to win this because everyone's good. And then I was like, I had to start mouthing, I can win this, I can win this, I can win this, I can win this, and I didn't. But I think I've never felt that before because it's a protection thing of, if you assume the worst, if you assume you're gonna be bad, if you assume you're gonna be late, if you assume this negative thing, then no one can do that to you. Today, with fire, I got it in 2 strikes. I haven't made a single fire. To be like, I can do fire. I be like, I can't swim. I did swim. I don't get to be like, I can't. It's kind of really clicked in today that I can win things, and I can. It's okay to think of the positive option and.
First of all, just want to be there. You both played incredible games, and it's just been a complete honor to become y'all's friend through this game. explosive. We would talk immediately after challenge, and a plan would be reached immediately, and we never wavered on that until you voted me out.
Sorry.
That's okay. And then I came from day one, but I do also think part of that was Leah and Dan approaching me at the game. So I'd be curious to hear what contingencies plans you had at any point in the game if your alliances failed.
Okay. Do you want to start this one? Sure. I think adaptability is huge. It comes from first getting the foundation set. I think you're allowed to be more off balance and more fun. So it was super vibes based. This whole game is super vibes based. But I think I spent a lot of the time gathering vibes and gathering who I liked talking with and who I felt was giving me truths even if they weren't. And felt really good going with those. I think I really liked, it wasn't a long one, but I liked bringing Griffin in with me and Declan. Griffin was very excited to join and like saying that he's excited to join, whether it was like super deep relationships, I'm not sure. But I was like, Griffin, come on in. Paul, come on in. When it was like, hey, I've never worked with these two. I haven't. And maybe I shouldn't. But there was a ton of times where I was like, no, you should hear this. You should hear this, even if it's not the one person I trust. And eventually some of those things leaked, and that's a risk you always take. But I think I was very willing at a stage in the game to be like, Griffin could be a huge asset to us. Mm-hmm. Paul could be more than just like the guy we pick off because he's not in the 8. Paul's like incredibly likable and would go with numbers that are fun and cool and like benefit his game, as everyone would. So I think it was, the foundation was set to cash in on a lot of new relationships that seemed like they would adaptably lead me to a good place.
That one?
Oh, wait, Leah didn't answer.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I feel like adaptability for me had to start very, very early on. Coming from the losers, I kind of had to adapt my gameplay to that and kind of play from a feeling that, okay, I'm gonna suck. Like, I need to figure out how to get through this. And I feel like my adaptability kind of comes from an outside perspective of this game. I know I've told a lot of people about this and I do not agree. I am not a social person. I hate talking to people. It is so hard for me. I am so emotionally drained right now. Like, it is actually insane. I am the most introverted introvert ever, and you can ask anyone in my personal life that. I have one friend, and that is my boyfriend, and quite literally, I wouldn't have it any other way. So it was so scary for me to come out here and be like, okay, I have to pretend that I'm good at this, and like, oh my god, sorry, there's a spider.
Is it?
Lift up your right arm. Lift your right arm.
Lift your right arm. Sorry, that was a scary black one. Thank you. Okay, yeah, it was just really, really frightening to me, and that was going to be super, super hard for me, but I had to do it or else I was going to be the and I feel like I did a really good job because a couple of the people that I told, I was like, I hate talking to people, I'm really bad at it. They were like, you can't tell. I feel like I did genuinely do a good job at that, and I'm really proud of myself for that, and I think that's the definition of adaptability for my game personally.
Whether everyone likes to admit it or not, a huge component of these games is luck. And I want to know a moment for both of you where you said, I'm betting on myself.
Okay. The crate was a big one where I bet on myself and myself only. It was hard because it was a long search where I was pretending to bounce trees around. And it was hard for them because I loved Cocoa Puffs. I really, it was the conversation around the fire was so deep. But you see a literal key to success and you gotta pick it up. And that was luck. Somebody happened to search there, it was me. And I didn't end up meeting it, but it's that confidence that that gave me for those few votes that helped me be better in challenges, that helped me be better in my relationships, that helped me be like, I know this secret can't leak because it's just mine. This is my secret. Every day I wanted to share it with Declan, that I had that, but it was mine to hold, and it was my game in that. And we had so many things that were our game, and it was early, but it was luck, and it was mine to cash in on, and I really liked that. Similarly, it was luck that Nicole and I ended up day one, and I developed such a great relationship there. The cards were in my favor there, and it was a relationship. She got rocked out. There were tons of scenarios where tribe swap could have happened. I also went on. I knew the advantage only lasts one time, a relationship lasts the rest of the game. I took that risk, that luck, and I ran with it. And I brought Declan along with me to my new tribe where we were able to have the numbers there, where we were able to continue that relationship that lasted the entire time. And I think I was first in that puzzle, the one challenge that didn't get me the necklace, but I think I was first in that puzzle, and I was so happy to be able to win that for what really mattered to me. And that one was a little luck, but a lot of work. And so I was happy.
I feel like I have two instances of like luck and things that were good for me. I'll start. Was to take Ned out. I kind of got really, really comfortable with those two, with Declan and Ned, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. Declan was like, yeah, okay, sure. In my brain, I was like, no way. Ned's, I feel like Ned's gonna take me to the end. I wanted to feel comfortable in that. But I was like, I can't rely on someone to take me to the end. I need to stop thinking like that. And I was like, you know what? Okay, yeah, I am gonna vote Ned out, and we're gonna just see if I can win final immunity. And I did, shockingly. And I just feel sure if it was gonna be good for my game or not. And it was just kind of like, I did it, hope for the best, and it worked. And I'm really proud of that. Earlier on in the game, I keep bringing it up, but the No Name Alliance, that nobody cared about it until I was like, okay, I have no other options. I'm just gonna hope and pray that people want to go with this, and they did. And I feel like if I didn't do that, I would have been in a way worse spot, and I definitely would have been sitting on the bench with you guys. And I think that was a very pivotal move in my game. So.
All right. Thank you, jury, for your questions. It is now time to decide who our winner is going to be. Same process, walk down, other than this time you're voting for the winner. So let's get to it. Production. last time. Tally the votes.
I can't help Before I get to the votes, let's have a hand for this great cast in this season. And a big thank you to our massive volunteer team All right, let's get to it. First vote, Leah. KP. Leah. KP. Leah. KP. KP. The winner survival challenge. Do I say something? Oh God, I thought I was done going to Taco Bell. Thank you so much. I never could have imagined this. This was just like such a dream. This is so fun and it's so rare. There's 25 people that entered that were all that good. They were so good and it was just such a whirlwind and so amazing to play with every single person. Not a single bad apple in the bunch. I loved this cast. The casting team popped off on this one. I just had so much fun and there's nothing better than meeting new people and being outdoors and having this once in a lifetime experience. And I'm so
we are going to go ahead and cut this feed, let our class celebrate an amazing season. We're so excited. Great finale. Congrats to both Leah and KP, who both showed up incredibly well. We are going to come back for the reunion show in just a little bit to hear a little bit from each of them about their experience. But in the meantime, thank you so much for